Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be, I brought back my alpha. Well, I've got a really good success story from a dude who brought back and really brought into the world his inner alpha, if you will. And this is a guy, bodybuilder, 6'4", pretty successful already, but obviously when it came to the women in his life, he wasn't doing so well. And so he's like probably 90% of the people that first find me. He came to me because he had a relationship going sideways. And so he shares what he did and said he didn't end up getting back together with this particular woman because he got so good, he started to recognize, and I've said this many times over the years, that he actually deserved better. And he started seeing his old girlfriend for what she really was. And so he's dating a woman now who's really amazing, and I'll get into the details of that when we go through his email. But I got a quote that I wrote in this, and then we're going to go through his email and see what he did. Because he also did some mistakes, like I always warn against. Don't cherry pick information in the videos and then think you don't have to read the book, because he tried that and he fell flat on his face. So the quote says, "Alpha energy is living your life and being who you really are without limits, holding back, or being influenced by weaker betas who are too scared, shy, and timid to reach their full potential. Alpha energy is leadership energy that takes risks in spite of the potential for loss and failure. Betas will do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. Alphas push through the pain and take action in spite of their fears because they have emotionally compelling outcomes they must achieve." The key being must. Alphas are disciplined and always continue moving forward and taking action even when success seems far off or highly unlikely. Alphas see problems and challenges as simply obstacles to be overcome by perpetually searching for solutions until they find them. Alphas are relentless in their pursuit of excellence and reaching their full potential despite the hate foisted upon them by the weak and timid. So let's go through his email. What's up, Coach? Well, actually, that would be the ceiling. But life is great. Thanks for asking. He says, "I wanted to email you a detailed success story as your work was the falling domino that helped me take steps in all aspects of my life to turn it around. And now I'm really headed in the direction I need to, thanks to you." Good job, dude. "I came across your work when I had a girl who at the time knocked my socks off, who is now actually subpar, if that." Yeah, as you become better and you become more successful and you become aware of what you're really capable of, obviously after you read my first book, How to Be a 3% Man, you can read it for free on understandingrelationships.com by subscribing to the newsletter. So what happens when you learn the information that's in the book, you exhibit the best parts of you that will make you maximally attractive to women. And when you start to recognize and exhibit the behaviors, the body language, the physiology, the tone of your voice, when you exude that confidence and you exude that presence, it's very rare. And you start to notice that not only do women pay way more attention to you, but men start to pay attention to you in deference to look to you to be the leader. And that is an amazing feeling, especially if you go from, like I once was, feeling scared and shy and not understanding what the fuck was going on. Everything seemed hit or miss when it came to relationships, to having absolute certainty and absolute knowing that you can have a really great woman in your life who's going to like you for you. And as I've talked about many times, I discuss in my book, attraction's not a choice. Women either like you or they don't. And what most guys do when they meet somebody that feels the same way or is initially attracted and feels the same good vibe that you feel towards them is that we talk them out of liking us. In other words, all those subconscious limiting beliefs and things that we hold about ourselves that are inaccurate, that affects what we say, it affects what we do, it affects our body language and physiology, and obviously women respond to this because women are biologically driven to mate and date with the most dominant males. And so they naturally, instinctively see a guy that seems so great off the bat, like this particular guy, I'll get to it in a second, but he's in great shape. And she would initially think this is the great, perfect guy for me. But because of how he perceived himself, he had some perceptions that were limiting in nature. It affected how he was showing up. And if you don't think you're really that great on the inside, and then you meet somebody that you really like, and you're in a scarcity mindset, then what happens is when you meet them, you start acting like you don't deserve it. And because you're in a scarcity mindset, you start worrying and becoming fearful that you can't find anything better. And that's what causes us to settle for somebody that's way less than what we're capable of having. It's the difference between having no choice and the paradox of choice, if you will, meaning you can always do better. And that's the way I look at life. I always look at every area of my life. I always think I can get better, I can do better, I can become more, I can become a better person. And that's why, if you've read my second book, which this one focuses more on your purpose, Mastering Yourself, which you can also read for free on my website, understandingrelationships.com, by subscribing to the newsletter, is that whether it's a job, when I was working for other people, or a business that I had that was really successful, deep down, when you have a lot of life experience and you're able to apply the science of high achievement fundamentals, which I teach in both my books, you know that with enough time and enough repetition and enough heart and enough taking action, eventually you're going to be able to reach beyond where you were. And then you look at life as just almost like we did when we were kids. We're like, you get a box and you imagine yourself making a spaceship out of it or a house out of it. We always come up with creative things. We never, when we're little kids, we don't think in terms of, oh, that'll never work, I can't do this, I can't do that. We don't think any differently. But as we age, we take on the limiting beliefs and the behaviors of the people around us, our friends, our family, our peer group. And when we start to believe that, it's like we create a little box, a little prison for ourselves, and we can't grow beyond that. But once you start applying the things that are in my books and you start seeing results, then you see life as just being a world of possibilities. And that's when it's really exciting and really fun. Because if you see yourself in a limiting light, that limits your friendships, that limits the women you date, that limits the careers you can have, that limits the kind of businesses that you can grow, that limits what you can do with your body and your physical health. And at the end of the day, if you don't have your health, it's going to have a negative effect on every other aspect of your life. And to me, the way I look at life, the whole purpose of it is to enjoy it and find a way to have fun with it, with who you're with and how you live, your lifestyle, where you live, what you do for fun, what you do for a living, your life's work. Because when you lose hope, you got one foot in the grave. And the reality is we're surrounded by people who have lost hope, who have given up on pretty much every one of their dreams by the time they hit their late 20s, early 30s, and now they're just trying to get through life, maybe get their kids through college, and then they're ready to take their dirt nap, having never even come close to reaching their full potential. And that's just the hardcore, harsh fucking reality. And if you're watching this video, it's obvious that you're somebody that has high standards and you want more for yourself. You want to be more than you are today, because that's what alphas do. Alphas always want to expand and grow beyond their current comfort zone. That's what the pursuit of excellence is, to be better than you were the day before. So let's get back to his email. He says, I came across your work when I had a girl who at the time knocked my socks off, who is now actually subpar. Things had gone sideways as I was extremely needy and insecure. Well, the only reason you're going to be needy and insecure is if you doubt yourself and you don't think you're good enough and you don't bring enough to the table. And if I lose this girl, oh my God, I'm never going to find anybody else. And that's what you tell yourself. So you jump through your butt and do all kinds of things that cause her and the people around you to lose respect because you're compromising your values and your principles because you fear losing someone. The best place to be is where you dare them to not want to be with you, to dare them, especially when it comes to women, to find another guy that's better than you. And to have the peace of mind that, hey, if she does, then fuck it. It's her loss. I will find somebody better. It's just a matter of time. And you'll see in a minute where that mindset really helps with the woman he's currently with. And she started to pull away, and your work opened my eyes. Despite being a 6'4" bodybuilder, an all-state hockey and soccer player in New Jersey all my life, I still didn't act like a man. Once I got blown off, I read your book 23 times over the span of about 2 or 3 months. So notice what he says next. So that's 23 times over 2 to 3 months. And the best success stories, they always come from guys that read the book 10, 15, 20 times or more. When you read something that much and you immerse yourself, because this is more than just a few techniques and strategies. This is a mindset. This is a way of life. This is a way you approach your problems and challenges and obstacles. You have to learn the science of high achievement fundamentals that are taught in both my books if you want to reach your full potential. If you want to get to the point where your life is kind of like an Etch-a-Sketch, if you will. You get to a point and you're like, hey, this has been great, but I want to create something new, and you just shake it up, and then you build something new on it. You can do that with your life when you understand the science of high achievement fundamentals. One thing I want to point out to the viewers, and this is important, is that I watched your videos nonstop on a daily basis and still fucked up, so the shortcut doesn't help, and the craziest part was the fact that I could physically feel the change each time I read your book. So in other words, he tried cherry picking information, the videos, and going, fuck that dude with this lime-ass green fucking t-shirt. I ain't gonna listen to a damn thing he says. I just watch these videos. I don't have time to read that book. You can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And he saw the consequences, and he finally came around and said, this dude's right. I might not always be right, but I'm never wrong. It felt like everything I knew was coming undone and implementing a new change. That girl was so pissed I wouldn't reach out and moved on, as even the one dude she fell for would not walk away. She's since moved to a quarter of a mile from my house, but I ignore her as she's egotistical and manipulative. Yeah, when you have an abundance mentality, when you know you deserve better and you know you can have better, other people have no fucking power over you. In other words, you're in a high position of leverage, just like we are, to borrow from the current headlines, with what Trump is doing with renegotiating all the tariffs. When you have countries that are getting hundreds of millions of dollars of our cash getting sucked out of our economy, and yeah, we're getting the products back coming through the border, we have all the leverage because they want our money. And obviously they want us to buy their products with our money. And because we have leverage, that's why Mexico and Canada recently have said, okay, let's make a deal. And why China is on the verge of making a deal, even though I think I got a $500 billion deficit. It's all about leverage and negotiation. I highly recommend you read The Art of the Deal. I'm sure there'll be some crying in the fucking comments just because I mentioned Trump's name, but if you can get past the fact, whether you don't like the guy or not, the fact that he's a master negotiator, it's all about leverage. And so in this particular case with this guy here, when he knows that he's awesome and he can have better and he can do better, he went from having no leverage to having all the leverage. He says this has her going crazy as fuck. Yeah, because she can't manipulate you anymore. All those old things don't work. Just like all the weak-ass fucking presidents we've had in the past that negotiated shitty fucking deals. The game has changed. We have a master negotiator, despite whether you like the guy or not. I dropped out of college to get a sales job as I ran out of money and my dad's credit was shot, so I had to roll, as they couldn't get my sister her loans if I didn't go on a payment plan, so I rolled. I just moved to software sales a years later, as the comp plan is 10 times better, so I can take the money I make and funnel it into my business ideas. And in my second book, Mastering Yourself, I go into extensive detail about how to get a better job, how to increase your revenue, how to negotiate revenue. I go into extensive detail, some basics about entrepreneurship if you're entrepreneurial inclined. And I've been a successful entrepreneur pretty much my whole adult life. And so I know what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to it. And that's another thing why I have no problem occasionally talking about politics, even though people go, oh, you're going to ruin your business. Oh, it's so stupid. Well, the reality is my business revenue was doubled in the past year. And last month I just had my best month ever. So me living and speaking my truth is showing that that's the best way to be, even if some people are going to fucking cry and whine about it, because I really don't give a fuck. It's the best place to be. When you don't give a fuck, and like as Steve McQueen, the great Steve McQueen said, I live for myself and I answer to nobody, that puts you in an absolute superior position of strength to negotiate on your behalf in the best position of leverage possible in every area of your life. In other words, you get what you want or you walk away. Remember, as Michael Yon said, the strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away and mean it. When the other person wants what you got more than you want what they're offering, you can get them to pay more for it. This brings me to my success with women. I got good at getting laid and even slept with a bunch of single moms from these online sites, and it was a good time, but I still was bad at actually attracting any girls I wanted. I finally got a better attitude and also some more friends, and we went nuts this year. So notice he changed his peer group. He got a better peer group. The idea is for your peer group, you want to hang out with people that are better, smarter, and more successful than you are, because they're going to push you to be better. And I wrote about this extensively in my second book, Mastering Yourself, as well. These things work. And I promise you, if you apply the things I teach in both my books, you will get fucking results way beyond whatever you thought was possible. Partying in Miami and all over Jersey and Long Island with film crews and tons of hot girls on all our pictures, and it was a blast. We made a ton of noise. I finally got to the place where I was ready to meet a woman, as I still wanted a teammate. Sex is great, but making love just completely will change your fucking life. Making love to a woman who is in love with you, you could have had sex with 1,000 different women, and when you make love for the first time, you can't even describe it. It's beyond anything you can imagine, because your emotions, your heart, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, everything is 100% engaged. That really unchains your heart. That really pushes you to want to be a better human being. I got clear on what I wanted in a woman in terms of all aspects, and a few weeks ago, matched an absolute dime on Bumble. She's a sponsored physique model and works for the company full-time, which is 7 miles from my new office. My old company, I could have walked into her office, and she moved to about 7 miles from me in May. I joined the Lifetime Fitness 2 days before matching her, as I wanted the steam room and showers rather than the brute gyms I was lifting at for a change, and ironically, she goes there too. That's not an accident. That is the law of attraction. That is the way the universe works. You focus on your purpose and your mission in life and being the best that you can and having high standards and applying the things in my book, and you're going to magnetically draw to you somebody that will blow your fucking doors off. It's just a matter of time, but you have to put the work in. You got to do the time. She messaged me immediately and wanted to meet that night, which we did, and we hit it off. The next night, I saw her in the gym looking like a bombshell, and I walked up to her, and she loved it, saying no guy has ever approached her in the gym. You will find that with the really super smoking hot women that they don't get approached very often, because most guys are just too timid and they think, she'd never like me. She'd never go out with me. The reality is, if you're that attracted to somebody, there is a good possibility that they're going to be that attracted to you as well. She asked me to go to her car and made out with me intensely. We would see each other each night at the gym, and that is how our schedules just happened to work out, and it was great. like attracts like. People who like the same things tend to like each other. They're both gym rats. They match on a dating app, and the next day they end up running into each other at the gym. That's not a coincidence. That is the power of the universe lining up to conspire with you to help you get what you want. She invited me over to her place after the gym each night, and I've never seen a woman so confident and in control of herself. It took a while for her to let me sleep with her. I actually liked this and never let myself get frustrated, as I was focused on giving and not needing. You're focused on giving when you have too much. When your cup runneth over, so to speak, you give without requesting or requiring anything in return. Because at the end of the day, that's what love is. Love is about giving. She's a dime piece with the most amazing body, so every dude wants her and they throw their dicks at her. But she has very strong morals and wants something meaningful. Yeah, because she knows that she's fucking awesome. She sees all the guys wanting her, and she's got high standards as well. She's not going to date any old fucking schmuck that comes along that has no fucking game and doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And the reality is, people that get to this level, they're pretty rare. Hence the title of my book, 3% Man. She said I'm like no other guy she's ever dated and loves it along with my confidence. She went to a trade show with her company and was in a booth all weekend, and plenty of dudes more fit than me, and I remained strong and confident in what I brought to the table. Yeah, that's, remember I talked about earlier? It's like daring her to find somebody better. Almost laughing like, yeah, like you're going to find somebody better than me? It's not about being an arrogant dick, but just the quiet, humble confidence. It's a deep inner knowing. She fucked with me a few times, and I laughed and said, they can have you when you're not with me, which confused her. That's where the daring her, go ahead, I dare you to find somebody better. But he says it in a playful way. He doesn't come right out and say that. In other words, you're showing that you could take it or leave it. You're going to choose another guy over me? Okay, well, obviously, I'm going to find somebody better and hotter. And as I say in my book, if you're trying to get somebody back and you master what's in the book, you'll either attract that ex back or you'll get somebody way fucking better. And so here's another guy that's gotten somebody way fucking better than what he had when he first found me. I said, the more guys you date and talk to, the faster you'll realize you only want me. And she loved this. That's fucking great, dude. Good job. When she returned, she quickly volunteered that she wasn't trying to see other guys on Bumble. She's trying to get his validation and trying to know that you really are fucking special to me. Or from the expo and missed me. She said the other night, I'm the first guy that she ever missed as she left the gym before me. And we didn't get a chance to hang out as I was not about to chase her. Remember, Thich Nhat Hanh, you must love in such a way that the person you love feels free. You give her the freedom. In a playful way, you encourage her to find somebody. You dare her to find somebody better. And yet she returns. I thought it was a test, and I just continued to give her all the freedom in the world. When we were together, she asked me what I wanted out of this, and I spoke from the heart, but not like an emotional little bitch. What do you want out of this? In other words, do you want to be my boyfriend? But never assume that. Ask the questions. I said, I enjoy my time with you and would be willing to see you exclusively, but we can go as slow as you want, because he knows that at the end of the day, women are the ones that decide where the relationship goes, if anywhere. As I'd like to just have fun and enjoy our time together until you're ready. In other words, he's like, that's not my job. Hang out, have fun, hook up. The 3 H's from the book. She ate that shit up and said she was hoping I'd be willing to do that, as I'm the only guy who has ever treated her properly and had his shit together just as much as she did. That is an alpha male and an alpha female. It's extremely fucking rare. Last night, I was invited for a sleepover and seduced her in minutes, and it was great. She invited me on a weekend trip camping with her sister and her sister's husband. She was dying when I said I don't think dudes from Jersey belong out in the woods, but obviously I said yes. She says a lot of things in your book, Like she loves the fact we don't text during the day. She's too fucking busy for that BS anyways. And in the back of her mind, she's thinking about you. So when you do finally talk, scarcity creates value, she's excited for that interaction. It has more value versus being in constant contact all day long. She only texts me when she wants to make plans or send a flirty text wanting to see me. She goes out of her way to make it easy for me and is yet to do a thing wrong. I think I've definitely found myself a real partner in crime, and she supports the fuck out of my goals and vision and gets more excited than I do when I win contracts from proposals. That is really fucking important. If you're dating somebody or you're with a woman and she doesn't support what you do, if she don't support your mission and purpose like this woman does, you're with the wrong fucking chick. That is reality. It's hard enough to go for the things you want in life, but if you got somebody in your inner circle, especially your supposed teammate, who's fucking sandbagging you all the time, she needs to cut that shit out, or you need to cut her loose. My purpose you helped me find is to start multiple businesses and eventually be a motivational speaker around the country to help people get through what I did due to growing up in a broken home, similar to what you went through, as my mom had several diseases and just got another one, and it tore up my childhood, and to go from being flat broke to a multi-millionaire. Good job, dude. I had a long road ahead of me, which I will do a coaching session with you to help me do this right. And if you're inclined to do a coaching session, you can go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book whatever option works for you. He says, thanks again for helping me overcome all of these things in my life and work to reach my full potential. What a great fucking success story, isn't it? I mean, that's fucking awesome. The guy did the work, even though he kind of fucked up a little bit in the beginning by trying to cherry pick. He got on track, and he's crushing it. This is what I want for you and everybody else that follows my work. So like the video. If this is the first video of mine you've seen, make sure you subscribe. Click the little bell icon, because that's the only way, because YouTube changed the way they do things. Click the little bell icon, and that way you'll actually get notifications when I do new videos. And if you got a comment or a question, post it underneath the video. I got a great community. You usually get several people that know what they're doing and talking about, because obviously I can't answer everybody's questions. I'm just one dude. But if you post a comment or a question in the comments, there'll be plenty of people to help you out, because like I said, I can't do everything. And in the meantime, I will talk to you soon.